Well, today, big update. We've been reporting that 2 big offers were expected to go in today to West Ham for Declan Rice. Now, last week we told you that Manchester City were monitoring the situation around Rice, but now we understand they are very much interested. That interest is concrete, and they could be one of the clubs making one of those 2 big offers today. We know Arsenal have already made 2 offers, the last one totalling £90 million. That was rejected by West Ham. Negotiations continue between Arsenal and West Ham. We could have a third player involved as well. Manchester United, they have an interest in Declan Rice. Why wouldn't you? What a fascinating, incredible player, talent he is, brilliant player, great personality. But it's whether they can structure the deal and find a way of sanctioning a deal like that, spending that sort of money when you've got all that's going on with the takeover at the moment. And United have so many different priorities at the moment. Midfield probably isn't top of that at the moment. Signing a striker, maybe 2 strikers, is. So we could have Manchester City, Manchester United and Arsenal all going for one player. A bidding war, and that means one thing. The price is going to go up and up and up. £90 million, that was a bid that was rejected. Sky Italy reporting that City are tabling a bid of £75 million plus £15 million in add-ons, similar to Arsenal's bid. But we understand with this Manchester City bid, the bonuses, the add-ons are more realistic and likely to be paid in the next 2 years rather than what Arsenal initially tabled.
Mark, how big a blow would it be for Arsenal if they did miss out on Declan Rice? And do you think they will feel like they could have done something differently?
He's their number 1 target. He's the player that Edu and Mikel Arteta have identified as being the one that could take that Arsenal team forward through the middle of the park. Now, you always feel like you want to get a bargain. You want to pay as little as possible. But this always felt like a deal that was £100 million plus. David Sullivan had said publicly after the Europa Conference League final, we think that Declan has played his final game for us. He, deserves the opportunity to move on. He signed a new contract. He'd been offered big contracts by West Ham. He wanted to sort of play things out and see how, see how things developed and the opportunities that arose. No question about his ability. I watched him play for England on Monday night at Old Trafford and in Malta on Friday night. Once again, standout performances. He played as a double pivot with Jordan Henderson in the middle of the park, looked superb. He was huge for West Ham last season. And I think everyone at West Ham will look at this situation and they'll feel like he deserves his opportunity to play in the Champions League, to play at the highest possible level. And he'll go with their blessing. He will be a big miss, though, and there's no question about that.
Though, isn't it? The bidding war. This is exactly what they wanted. So how high could we see his valuation go, particularly with the clubs that are involved now?
I think the nature of what's happening and how quickly things have progressed from Arsenal's initial offer to their second offer being rejected and now Manchester City potentially being at the table, I think we could see a resolution quite quickly now. Yeah. I don't think this will go on and on and on. We've got to a point now where Arsenal are clearly getting close to where West Ham want to be. I think it's probably going to be around 100 million plus 10, 15, 20 million in add-ons. That's going to get the deal done. And if Manchester City feel that they can get that deal done, they'll get it done, and then it will be up to Arsenal whether they match it or not. I don't think Manchester United can quite get to the table with those kind of figures at this stage. But he's got 2 years left on his contract. West Ham hold the cards. And interestingly, Declan has his heart set on Arsenal. Staying in London and going to Arsenal is what he envisaged happening this summer. But Manchester City, treble winners, Pep Guardiola, that team is going to surely turn his head. So, yeah, massive deal as well, because not only have you got to pay 100 plus for the player, you've got agency fees and wages. So it's a £200 million plus package that's going to be on the table.
He's worth it?
I think so. I think he's superb. And I think he's the future of England in the middle of the park. I think he's a key player in the Premier League. He's only young, bags of potential ahead of him. Imagine getting into a team with Pep Guardiola or Mikel Arteta, 2 managers that want to improve you as a player, want to work with you on the grass as well. And I think this could be one of the standout deals, and there'll be a number of clubs that look at this and think, well, we should have been at the table.
Yeah.